What's happening?
Oh,
How are you?
I'm wonderful. And I actually was reading this with my daughters last night. And
Are you serious?
Oh,
come on. That makes me feel very, very good. Thank you so much.
We'll talk about it in a little bit with a friend of the show who's very special to us. But I had to tell you right away that we were all in our beds, cozy, snugs as bugs and rugs, reading your beautiful new book.
That's something else. I really appreciate that. You have no idea how that makes me feel.
Well,
that's good stuff.
Reading about you, your son is such a priority in your life, and it felt really nice for me to be reading about your life with him because I'm in it with my two girls, and you know, the world is such a unique place right now as far as homeschool and them not being able to be around their friends, and you know, none of us have much of a life outside of the life we have within our homes.
This is true. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and you know, I hate to sound like a broken record, but you know, it's during these times where I just remind myself, you know, kind of how lucky I am, how lucky we both are, you know, even though the world around us seems to be, you know, spinning all different kinds of directions. I do get to spend more time with him. Walker, he's 11 years old. And you know, through the books that I've written and even the television program, All American, we get to discuss, you know, all of these issues together and in a way that I'm where I'm comfortable and where he's comfortable. You know, during these last few months, we've been able to kind of connect on a lot of, you know, really important subject matter, and I'm kind of grateful for that.
Something that I was wondering if it's true, because I've already visualized it and romanticized it in the cutest way ever, that you two have a thing called night swims.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was cute at the beginning. No, I'm like, do I gotta get in the water too, man? But yeah. We're lucky enough to have to have a pool, and for whatever reason, you know, because we were spending so much time together in the pandemic, swimming at night never occurred to us. And then one night he just asked, and I said yes. And we both got in, and it was under the stars, and we all of a sudden we just started just really kicking it with each other, talking in a I could just tell that he was maturing, and it was a really great moment that I don't know, you know, that we would have had, you know, were we not right there in that specific, you know, area, time. So when he started opening up, you know, inside I was so excited and just had to pretend, you know, like I was a cool dad just listening, but I was so grateful, so grateful, and I continue to be.
I really loved hearing that.
Excellent. I'm glad you can appreciate that.
I really can, and I appreciate all that you've done in your life. I mean, the
hell,
theater.
I've done so much, Drew.
Well, you have. Your theater career is so impressive, and
well, thank you.
Reading about your hesitancy to even go and meet for Rent, and then it changed your life in many ways.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy. I just turned 50, and I'm saying all this stuff that I promised myself I would never say when I was younger. All these cliches, you know. I used to hate when people said, you know, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Well, rent is literally the gift that keeps on giving. When someone just asked me, you know, what it has meant, what it means to me, and it's so much. You know, I met my baby mama there. It's the beginning of my career, and even today, you know, we're still getting together and kind of moving people, you know, over Zoom, doing Zoom, you know, charity concerts and whatnot. So it's kind of where it all started, and it's nice to you know, to know that it's continuing. You know what I mean? It's none of us knew. You know what I mean? None of us knew. And even Walker's mother, Idina, you know, Idina Menzel, it's been really great I love the fact that I was there at the beginning. You know, she made history in that show and continues to make history with her singing and whatnot. And to know that I was right there, I love sharing that, you know, with my son. Like, Daddy was there when mommy first, when the world first listened to her. So that's cool as well.
Wow. I think all us moms out there just went, oh my gosh.
Well, give him my number because I'm swinging and single, baby. That just messed it up. That just messed it up. I just messed it up there. Just not.
No. The show must go on, if you know what I mean. Your current show is just phenomenal, All American. And I know that this project really spoke to you. Can you speak to that?
Sure. You know, this show was one of those choices for me where I read this script and it really spoke to me, and I just said yes and stopped looking at other projects at the time. And as soon as I was on set, that's a lie. The first read through, I knew that this was where I was supposed to be. You know, there were no names on this project. It was a bunch of really talented, excited, you know, passionate kids, and a few really great adults. But it was something special, and it was one of the few projects that where I'm proud that the subject matter has to deal with what's going on today, right now. And as I said before, I feel lucky I can discuss, you know, each episode with my son. You know, some of it's a bit racy, but I would much rather, you know, him discuss these issues with me than you know, kind of come to these conclusions on his own. You know, with Black Lives Matter and racism and sex and, you know, classism, all this stuff we deal with on the show. You know, obviously with the backdrop of football, but it's a special project, and I've had so many great moments with actors and just with my son because of this show, and I'm excited for the future.